Hi, Adam here, and welcome to the Medium channel. Whether you're watching this as a video or live, welcome. And here's where we bring you the spirituality behind the message. So happy June, everybody! It's a new month, another new beginning. We're coming off of a new moon. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to dive right in just a moment. If you're watching this as a video, I'm just going to say a few quick hellos, give the live people a minute or two to get their notifications. But what we're going to talk about briefly about the astrology and numerology and how that affects the energy of the month. Then I have a few predictions. Psychic predictions for me are not necessarily um, world prognostications. That's not what I do. I'm a medium. So the predictions are more about like what the energies are doing, how they're going to affect us, what's likely to happen. And there's a couple of world predictions that come up with that also. So I'm going to do that. And then we're going to talk about a couple of exercises that are, according to my guides, are very much made for the month of June and the energies of June. So I've got a couple of new ones, today, as well as I may talk about some of the old ones that we should be doing and continue to do. So let's see. Hey, Michael and Lisa and Doreen and Susan and Maria and MT and anybody that I'm missing, welcome. And I hope you're having a wonderful day, a wonderful beginning to the month of June. And yeah, we're here. Yeah, we're happy. We're whole. We're healthy. There's a lot to be grateful for. It's a difficult and challenging world, but we signed up for this on the spiritual level. So we are here to work through these times and to help make a difference. And the way that I see and the way that I'm seeing my life, and maybe spirit's starting to channel through me. But the way that I see this is that, yeah, the secret to having a really good old age is doing what you're supposed to do, what you've been meant to do, until you reach that point. So if you do the work that you're here to do, even though it's challenging, when it's your time to cross over, you'll come home to a hero's welcome. So to me, the secret of a happy old age, and I'm 63, so we start to think about these things now, is really doing the best that you can during your life. And as long as you've done your best, as long as you've tried, I think that's one of the four agreements in the book, The Four Agreements to Don Miguel Ruiz. Always do your best. As long as you've done your best, you're a success. Your bottom line, because even if you don't see the physical or material results, the spiritual results will never leave. So always do your best, no matter how challenging or difficult things are. Do your best. Tomorrow, your best may not be the same as it is today. So, don't get down on yourself. Guilt and shame and all that stuff just lowers your vibration and frequency and makes it harder for you to connect to spirit and to do some really good things in your life. So we made a mistake. I made a mistake yesterday. All right, what could I do better today? I'm going to let it go, not feel guilty or shameful, and I'm going to stay in my heart, stay in my power, and stay in my divinity. So I see a few more people have come on. So hi to the few more people that have come in. Hey, Glenn. Hey, the buttonist, welcome. Hi, Heather, welcome. Yeah, we're going to actually use a variation on a meditation that Heather Istara, our healer, did last night for us on our live channeling for the new moon on Zoom. If anybody was there, you'll recognize that. So let's get down to this. We're going to talk briefly about the astrology. If you want more details, Sharita Star's our go-to astrologer, numerologist. You can go to her spring forecast, and she has June very well covered from the astrological perspective. Just a couple of quick things that June in numerology is a universal 12 month. 12 is Jupiter ruled, so it's about expansion, but it's also the sacrifice in Chaldean numerology, and in tarot, its key 12 is the hangman, which is also about sacrifice. So again, sacrifice doesn't have to be anything negative. It just means that there's certain things we're going to need to let go of or sacrifice in order to continue on our spiritual path, in order to continue on our journey in this ever-changing world. But Jupiter is a very fortunate and lucky energy. So we're going to be guided numerologically by Jupiter this entire month. So it's great for growth and expansion. Now, Mercury's going to station, in fact, in less than 2 days. That happens on Friday morning, I believe, at 26 degrees Taurus, which is a Saturn ruled degree point in the sign of Taurus, which is Venus ruled, because 26 reduces to an 8. So the number 26 is often destructive, but this whole shebang needs to come down in order to rebuild on a firmer foundation. So nothing wrong with that. And because the Mercury station is really aspecting the USA Pluto return, and it's only a 2 degrees off of or 1 degree off actually of the actual Pluto return that we're in the midst of right now. It's in Taurus. So Taurus is about the financial markets. It's about the structure and things. So the structures are likely to be taking a hit. So Mercury's going to be stationing, up until around next Monday or Tuesday. Then it's going to start to move forward again. So that's another thing to keep in mind. The full moon's going to hit 23 degrees Sagittarius on the 14th of the month. 23 degree point is the there's the royal star of the lion, I think it is. It's said to be very fortunate. So, and it's Mercury ruled degree point. But it's got that Jupiterian Saturn energy. So Sagitt wants the truth. 23 degrees is very fortunate. So this might be good for money and other stuff like that. This energy, and it's also Neptune, I think, is squaring, which is about illusions, and and Uranus is in play also. So there may be some disclosures on things that have been going on behind the scenes later on in the month. Things maybe around the news or inconsistencies in the news, we'll say, possibly like disclosure of UFOs and aliens. I mean, I think that's already happening, or that's already happening. A couple of other little tidbits I wrote down in my notes here. Jupiter is in Aries, conjunct Mars and Chiron to start the month. And so there's a trend more towards diplomacy when Jupiter and Mars get together, because Mars can be very warlike, very action oriented. Jupiter is more about expansion and growth. And it tends to lend itself more towards having a broader and wider view of things. So the thing is, there may be some trends towards more negotiation and diplomacy with what's going on. But because of the heavy Mars and the Aries and a lot of other things that are going on, diplomacy can quickly turn to rage and into violence. So there's that degree of unpredictability. So especially if one side refuses to budge. Now, of course, I'm keying in on Russia and Ukraine, but there's other wars, other conflicts going on in the world. So one of the things, and I didn't write this in my notes, so this is something that spirits remind me of. So let's just call this maybe, oh my goodness, what do I have here? Oh, I see what I did. Okay. Okay, so that thought came into my mind. It left my mind. It'll come back at some point. So let me just write down, say what I wrote down. Now, the way I get these predictions is part astrology and part numerology, but most of it is what Spirit is downloading. And the first one is about making sacrifices. So we just kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. This month will represent kind of a last opportunity to really make your decisions as we start to head into greater duality as the summer and the autumn wears on. So what that basically means is that, we have, and I've talked about this for months now, that we have the advent of a dual society or an alternative society. A lot of that's going to be around the interfacing with artificial intelligence and the metaverse and social passports and all these other things. I'm not going to talk a lot about today because I want to keep this relatively brief. But are you going to choose more on your spiritual path and develop through your heart, through your spirit, through your intuition, or develop more through interfacing with technology? Because that's going to be very attractive. And the promise is going to be that you don't need to do all this other spiritual stuff. You can just interface with computers and have the job done for you. but that's just not the way it works. So, we have to understand a little bit more about the direction the society's going in, what are our values, and make decisions based on what your values are, for yourself, for your loved ones. And I'd say most of the people that are tuning in and watching this live stream, their values are going to be more towards working with the heart, working with spirit, working with developing and growing, as human beings, as spirits having a human experience, rather than allowing diversion. We call these the coyotes, the tricksters. So allowing these tricksters to take us off of our spiritual path and taking us somewhere else. So, again, technology, all this could be a really good and beautiful thing. It has its benefits, but we have to know who's in charge, who's controlling it. Is it the same forces that are responsible for the corrupt flow of money and power and the inequality and all the negativity that's going on in the world, so that a select few will benefit at the expense of a great many? And if the answer is yes, you want to take a second look before you open yourself up and get implants put in you in order to connect more with the metaverse and have the so-called realistic experience. So, making your decisions and really deciding what path you're going to take now, because the next several years it's going to get really hot and heavy. So decisions that you make now are going to be very important in the trajectory of how you grow and develop and how you live your life in the years to come. If you choose to, I don't want to say denounce technology, but if you choose to step back and to be in the more the alternative society, we'll say, I believe there'll be an underground internet, kind of like the internet we have now, which I think has about 3 years of a shelf life left before they completely replace it with more of a metaverse integrated internet, basically. So, there'll be plenty of people that are aware, that are awakened or awakening, that understand, that we need to develop and grow spiritually in order for, us as humanity to grow and to get out of this whole paradigm of control and the very few benefiting at the expense of many, and all the social conditioning, the program, and everything like that. So number two, so that I think I covered making sacrifices enough. Sacrifices don't have to be a bad thing, but part of that is that you may have to sacrifice friendships when people are not aligned to your thinking or your growth. Some people are leaving their husbands, wives, their partners in many, many years. And that's part of the sacrifices that we have to make. It's part of initiation. With growth and initiation comes sacrifices. There's another word I can't think of right now. Provisions might be another word, that have to be made to follow your path. It's fine to let go, to mourn your loss, but to understand that in order for there to be a rebirth, the death has to happen first. And part of the death process is you're not going to be the same person. You're not going to be aligned to the same people, the same activities, the same things, the same foods, the same entertainment, and so on and so on. So this is all part of that making sacrifices. But what awaits you at the end of expanding your heart and connecting more with the beauty of spirit, far outweighs anything that you're going to have to let go of. So trust in that. So number two prediction is money manifestation. This is going to be a good time for a lot of us in this community to manifest more money. Part of part of the reason astrology is the Jupiter transits assist. We're in a 12-month, which is Jupiter ruled. So what Jupiter does in astrology holds extra weight during the month of June because of that numerology. And there's a lot of favorable money aspects that are happening. Understanding the trends and invest wisely. So money's likely to go up and down, but the full moon especially becomes very fortunate for money potential. So keep that in mind. If there are investments or ideas, especially things that you can grow and expand and to help people with and to help your loved ones and family, this is a good time to think about ways of increasing money. So a good time to do your money manifestations. This is just, I won't say coincidence, but a synchronicity that I have another really, good money meditation coming out tomorrow at 7 o'clock on the channel. So number 3 is that you're going to meet either your soulmate, your soulmates, your soul tribe starting this month. It may already be happening. The Jupiter energy with the outer planet movements helps facilitate that. So a lot of people are going to be connecting more with their soul family, their tribe, so to speak, people that are more aligned to their thinking. I mean, because of Gemini's very social energy and other things that are happening now, it's naturally a time. It's also the summer, and the this phase of the pandemic is done, in terms of not being able to go out or whatever. So there's a lot of things that are going on in the world that's more conducive to socialization, but energetically, a lot of you are going to be meeting. It may be romantic also. Some of you on this live stream today may actually meet your one of your soulmates, your twin flame, or something like that. So number 4, we've talked about this for a while, food shortages. Keep an eye on wheat, keep an eye on staples. Be mindful of the fact that there are forces that be, powers that be that control things. Now, of course, we don't talk about conspiracies, that are unproven, and this may be completely a coincidence, but we do know that Bill Gates has, or the Bill Gates Foundation, I should say, has purchased much of the farming land in the country. And then there's food shortages that are following. And of course, there's always new developments and food technology, new GMOs, new things like that come out. There's even new baby formulas coming out on the heels of the shortage, which also, by the way, the Bill Gates Foundation has large investments in, as well as with the WHO. And there's also been a book published about pandemics, how to handle pandemics, and how to centralize governments in order to combat the next pandemic. And of course, like I said, I'm not making any judgments or putting two together and coming up with the wrong conclusion, but you can do your research. But these are facts that we're putting out here now. It's not conspiracies. These are facts. And this is what's going on. And, a lot of you are aware of that. So we don't need to go. But understand, stock up, get ready, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. One of the things, although I'm going to get to that. So number 5, healing old wounds, completions in general, especially early in the month. So early in the month, and it was actually in May that we had a 9-degree new moon in Gemini, and Chiron was very active, the wounded healer around that time also. And 9 is about completions, and the moon is very emotional energy. So this is really, it's always a good time to work with shadow stuff to heal the old wounds. But this is really about completion. You want to complete as much of that work as possible. This is the season of the sun. The sun is very active. So we're coming to the summer solstice also. So you want to embrace that bright light of the sun, and you don't want these hidden shadows to get in the way. So instead of that, allow the sun to shine light deep into the dark hidden areas of your psyche that will show up in your physical body and aura. Allow the sun to shine those areas, and that's going to help you shed light on the shadows, and they're not shadows anymore. And then with knowledge and with understanding comes solutions, but it starts with awareness. So that you can add that to the exercises, to do some exercise where you literally shine the sun onto the shadow aspects in and around you. So again, completions, healing old wounds, completions. Again, the 9-degree new moon, good time for all of that. So completing all the old stuff, try to get that done early in the month. All right, so here we go. Number 6, going to number 7, endemic, new virus concerns. Okay, so in my yearly forecast, we predicted June as the month where this would go from a pandemic to an endemic. Timelines are fluid, they change. I highly doubt within the next 30 days that this is going to become an endemic. Honestly, now that we're here. However, that said, I think there's going to be a lot of planning behind the scenes on what the new normal is going to look like, including yearly vaccines, depending on what the strain is or whatever, and new rules, new mandates, or maybe more enforcement of the old mandates. I think all this stuff is going to be happening in June. I think we're going to hear about some leveraging from the powers that be around that. And who knows, it may be declared an endemic this month. I think there's technically too many cases for that right now, but something to keep in mind. So rules on vaccine post-pandemic. And another thing that I wrote down, with the weather, I think there's going to be some really bad heat waves this June. I mean, there were in May, so why not? You have fires and earthquakes, especially West Coast. So be aware of that. Mother Earth is still, in that phase. We had the eclipse season. There's a lot going on. The thing is that we have a lot of like activity in Aries, a lot of the fire in the air signs. So my head's buzzing. So I think Spirit's putting its stamp on that. So just to kind of be aware of that. And number 9, and this is more like advice than anything, but placing more focus on the heart and on nature. I talk about this and every other live stream that I do. You get out into nature, feel the flow, feel the energy. Nature restores. All these Wi-Fi signals, 5G, and the stress of society and the news tears our system down. If we can get present in nature and start to feel energy and feel the flows, we can use that energy to help restore us and to heal us. So God, there's something that popped up in my mind that I can't think of it. Oh, it came back. So this could be number 10. And I think there's going to be some news about a major world leader stepping down, or some news around that. Now, that was part of my 2022 psychic predictions also. That was for the month of July. I put the name Biden out there. I mean, I think Biden's kind of on life support right now, but I can't, unless something unexpected happened, I can't see him being ousted in the next 2 months, to be quite honest, even though his approval rating is about as low as any president's ever been. I can't imagine why, but we'll save that debate for another time. But we also have Putin. We have what's his name? The Canadian Trudeau in Canada. There's other world leaders. A big shakeup is coming, and I had mentioned about April and May being a little bit of a lull in my yearly forecast, and things starting to heat up again in June. I think that's going to happen. June and July can be very eventful, especially moving into July. August, September, about the same. And then we're going to gear up to a really active autumn into the winter. And I think that's going to be the real heart of the earth changes. I think that's when we're going to start to see things really start to fall apart. And again, things need to fall apart to get rebuilt. We shouldn't be worried or afraid of that, but we should be aware of it and understand that we may need to make provisions. And a good rule of thumb is to have supplies just in case the grid shuts down, just in case food supplies get cut off, all of that stuff. There should be a backup plan. There should be, I'd say for 2 months, but for at least a month, have some backup supplies. Should you need to go into survival mode. Time is fluid. This has been shown to me, but it's also been shown to me that we are awakening and we're changing some of the timelines. Not all of them, but some of them. So we may not have to deal with the worst of it, but we might. So it's a good thing to be ready. So anyway, I'm missing all of your comments, but thank you, Lunar Lotus. It's been rainy, very rainy here too today. It's been rough. Yeah, lots of resistance, angry. Yeah, that don't expect that to go away. In fact, that may get worse. So again, the eye of the storm. Where's the eye of the storm? In the heart chakra, the heart center, because the heart is eternal. Everything, the heart is just light. It's love. So if you can be in your heart, all of the stuff swirls around you, but you can be in that point of spirit where you're the most effective, but the least affected. And that's what we need, because we can, if we're too affected by what's going on out there, we cannot be effective as teachers, way showers, light workers, and all of that. We have to be in the eye of the storm. Every now and then I'll stick my arm out and feel the winds. That happens a lot on social media. If I post something and then people disagree and I catch that energy or whatever, but be in the heart. So here's a few exercises. And they were showing me a breath exercise that's very consistent with Kundalini yoga, and it involves belly breath. And the way that you do this is you get nice and relaxed, and then you inhale, and then at your root, placing the energy in your root chakra, then pump your belly with the air in 3 times, or just 3 times. Feel the waves of energy through your root, then exhale, release, and then do another breath with your sacral chakra. Again, inhale 3 belly pumps, feel waves in your belly, exhale, release. Then go to your solar plexus, do the same thing. Inhale, belly pumps, and feeling the waves in your solar plex now, then exhale, release. Then in your heart center, belly pumps, then exhale, release. Then throat, again, belly pumps, and feeling the waves in your throat, then going to your third eye, and then your crown, and then you can repeat. Now you can also do this from the upper chakra down, but this is going to help you to create gentle waves in your chakra system to help to clear any stored energy. And when you do release energy, sometimes you may feel anxiety, depression, or discomfort. Breathe through it. Very little growth has been happened during times of comfort. Most of it happens through overcoming challenge and discomfort. That's part of the human experience. We're spirits that signed up for the human experience, so we signed up for this. So when anxiety comes in, our first inkling is try to relieve it. Sometimes people will grab a cigarette or a drink or do some, or clean or whatever. The best thing to do is to sit with it and to breathe through it and understand it's okay to be uncomfortable. I do a lot of cold therapy, and that helps me. Like yesterday and the day before, sitting in the Esopus Creek, I would guesstimate the temperature somewhere around 45 now in the creek. Plenty cold enough for this work. And the idea is I'll sit in and I'll regulate my breathing, like Wim Hof does. It teaches us, and just try to get very relaxed, because when the cold hits the core, we tense up. That's our body's survival instinct. But if we can relax, then a higher spiritual survival instinct kicks in. That's why Wim Hof can sit in an ice bath for 15 minutes without his body temperature lowering. That's an ice bath. That's 34-degree water that he's sitting in. Just give you some perspective there. So I do things to override discomfort all the time in my life. So that helps me prepare to override emotional discomfort too. So number 2 is sun gazing. Anybody do sun gazing? Try to do this only within a half hour of sunrise and sunset. I don't want anybody to do this and wind up messing your eyes up from too much. It's really not so much the ultraviolet, but it's actually the visible light that damages your eyes most, apparently, although the UVs can definitely do a number on it also. So you just want to, just relax like you're meditating. Allow the sunlight in your eyes and absorb those light codes that the sun transmits, the light codes from the central sun, which is a way that spirit transmutes into the physical and affects us that way. So the sun rises very early in these parts, but if you get up early, get up and do maybe about 10 minutes of sun gazing also. Sun gazing responsibly. I wrote down in my notes. No more than 30 minutes after sunrise. Okay, next, heart breathing. We started to talk about that. But try, we talk a lot about heart-brain coherence. That's one of many techniques you can use to increase the frequencies of the heart. The heart wants to feel compassion, and the heart wants to feel gratitude. When you feel that, then the heart is coherent, because that's what hearts naturally do. You tune into higher love or universal love when you're able to capture those emotions. Another way of doing that, especially in June, is to do heart breathing. So you visualize the sun in your heart and feel the sun expand as the inhale and gently contract with the exhale, but feel the sun in your heart and feel the sun opening your heart to gratitude, appreciation, and love. And feel your heart expand into your aura, expand into the fields around you, and then finally expand into nature and into the world and then collective consciousness. So there's a nice exercise also. So this will help activate the solar codes also. Help support health support immune health, purges anxiety and depression, and then opens you up more to spirit. And last but not least, and Heather did this yesterday for us on Zoom, for those that were with us, and our variation thereof. But try bringing the sun down, like as you're meditating, bring the sun down into your crown chakra, and breathe a little bit and feel the sun in your crown, and then bring it down and into your third eye. Take a few breaths and bring it down into your throat center, and then your heart center, and go down your chakras that way. And you can spend a few minutes with each chakra, just bringing the energy to the sun into your chakra and just feeling the sun illuminating, clearing again, illuminating any dark, hidden blockages, obstacles, shadow aspects, illuminating it. And on the exhale, you can breathe it all out. On the inhale, you can take in more light. And then do this with each of the chakras. So you can add these exercises to all the other ones we talk about here on the Medium channel. And that's basically what I have. So on this full moon, Heather, Istara, and myself are going to do some activations and some channeling for you here on the channel on the 14th, which is the day of the full moon. So that'll be an exciting event that you'll want to be with, because Heather's not always here to share her her healing abilities and her knowledge and insight with us. And at some point, we'll get Sharita back to give us a summer outlook. But you can look at Sharita Starr's videos. I'll eventually get a hold of her videos on a not an end stream, the playlist. We have all of Heather's on a playlist now also, and do some yoga. We'll get Doreen from the Children's School of Yoga. I think she has 3 classes now on the channel. We'll get hers on a playlist so you can do some yoga with her also. And that's what I got for you. So thanks for joining us. Again, it's a great day to be alive. Be aware. Don't be afraid. Nothing to fear. As long as you have spirit in your heart and God or spirit walks with you, no matter what happens, you're going to be okay. Your loved ones are going to be okay. And remember that we are spirits having a human experience. Nobody is ever going to die. So if you lose the fear of dying, lose the fear of living. So don't let them scare you with your rights being taken away or all these other tactics. Anytime you feel anything, fear or anxious, feel your heart, feel the sun in your heart, and especially during the month of June. Inhale, feel expand, exhale, contract. A couple of minutes of that, it's just going to clear all of that stuff, because your spirit knows that you're safe. Your spirit knows that you're not your body and your physical life, and that you're immortal, and no matter what, you're going to be safe. That's what I have. So we're going to end now. Have a beautiful rest of your month, June. It's going to be a very active month on the Medium channel, on Spirit Mind Family, our membership support group. It's going to be Ascended Masters month. We're going to talk all about the Ascended Masters. And starting in July, except for the full moon and the event channelings, we're going to do the work with the master teachers on Spirit Mind Family. So if you're interested in working with them, because they're here to help anybody ready to awaken, to help work with your frequencies. They're doing that with me. I started working with them in 2010 with Susie Mazzoli, who's a brilliant channel. So they want to work with you if you feel called to that work. We're going to do most of that work going to be on Spirit Mind Family. And I'll leave a link in the comments section when it becomes a video. But like I said, all full moons are still going to be on YouTube. So you can work with my guides, or our guides, I should say that way, as well as the angels as well. So for those that want to deepen the work and want to go the next step, we're going to do that starting in July. But we'll have some warm-ups in June to get you guys enticed and psyched to step more into this work. All right. I promise now I'm ending. I love you. Thank you.